through Havana. We were here for a couple of days, and Agla's going to tell you about a story of somebody we met yesterday.
Havana and the whole of Cuba is kind of it's like time travel for me, and everything is hitting way too close to home because Lithuania used to be in the Soviet Union, and obviously a lot of things used to be very similar or even the same. So for me, it's like I get to see what my parents' generation had to live with. And it's very, very strange. And yesterday we met this woman named Heidi. I'm not sure that's the right way to pronounce her name, but she was selling coffee from her house somewhere in central Havana, was it?
Yeah. Yeah, for 4 cents a cup.
Yeah. And we just started talking, and she said, "What do you do?" I told her I was a writer, and she said, "Oh, I'm a writer too." And she said she was a writer and a poet. And then she started just reciting poems about Che Guevara and Fidel. And love, of course. And we just got talking, and then she invited us in. And it turned out that she didn't exactly have that much love for either Che Guevara or Fidel, but it was just the right thing to say, as I guess still is for a lot of Cubans in the open, in the public, right?
Yeah.
So it's possible that she was just being cautious, who knows. And she said she lived in Bulgaria for 7 years, and her husband was Bulgarian. And she named her 2 sons Douglas and Dimitri, one for America, one for Russia. And she was hilarious. But at the same time, her story, I didn't get all of it because we didn't stay for a long time, but she said her parents were pretty rich, and as a little girl she was driven around by a chauffeur and stuff like that, and then the revolution happened and everything was taken from them, and she didn't say what exactly happened to her parents, but I guess we can all guess. And now she lives in this shabby little apartment in Havana and sells coffee for 4 cents. But she said that she believed in God, and she had a sort of fatalist attitude that it is what it is and there's nothing you can do about it. And she didn't have much hope for Cuba. She said some things might change, but not a lot. I don't know, what impression did you get of her?
It's just a very sad existence. I mean, we went inside a house and sat down and chatted to her, and you know, she had you'll see because I'll add a photo here, but she steel gates that she just basically just lent and watched the world go by outside the front door, and then inside a little counter where she made coffee, and a bed, just a single bed in the room, and a tiny little kitchen, and just no possessions, how you would expect somebody from Cuba to be, just literally 0 possessions, nothing. You know, if things turn around, she doesn't have any value of anything, and it just very, very sad that, you know, and we've been asked about, you know, with Lithuania, how long it took for things to turn around, and, you know, like I said, around 15 years, and most people said, "Oh, too late for me, I'll be dead." You know, so they'll never see a change, but there's from 2 years ago coming here, there's a massive change. It just, there's a definite attitude change. The novelty of the tourists appears to have worn off. The novelty of our motorcycles appears to have worn off. And now, because internet's been here for 4 or 5 years, there's a completely different view of the world. So and it's a shame. She went from good times to bad times, and she won't come back to the good times again. So, just sad.
But at the same time, she was very energetic, and she told us about her work and her poetry. And she's also a dancer of conga, and she's got this certificate. It's kind of like an award. No, not an award, just an acknowledgement.
It was a commendation.
Okay. And they called her a peculiar person of culture with a big heart in it. And that's a very, very accurate description of her, I think. But it is very strange for me because my parents are kind of like that. It's just generations of completely wasted opportunities living in a prison.
Yeah.
And making do. And
basically the island is a prison. And the other thing that somebody said to us was about America. Okay, so Trump backed out, and for whatever the reasons are, no need to get into politics, but because so many other countries stand behind America, it has a massive effect. Yeah. Because America is obviously a superpower, and they don't want to upset America, so they would rather upset Cuba. So, and then you have the complete opposite. You have people paying $500 a day to come in on a cruise ship and come and see life, and it's just very strange environment. If you're going to come to Cuba and you want to get the feel of how you expect Cuba to be, you need to be here within the next year or two.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. But then the younger people, because the older people seem to have this sort of defeatist attitude that that's it, then we're not going to see anything. This is it. This is our life, and this is it, and we're done. The younger people, they're learning English at school.
Yeah.
We met. I think it was our 70-year-old woman Heidi's son's friend, or maybe a neighbor, who's in a band, and they wrote this famous song Panamericana, and they're gonna go on a tour in Colombia and possibly Europe. And he spoke some English, and I think the younger generations are pretty hopeful because, again, they're the ones that are getting on Google and Facebook, and they're the ones that might actually see a change or might be able to leave. So we'll talk to more people.
Yeah.
And we'll find out more. But right now it just feels like a trip in time. And there's also, for me, just, I don't know, a lot of sadness for all these broken generations here. And at the same time, seeing street art, it's really vibrant, or Cuban music, it's incredible.
Yeah.
You would never think that all this life comes from a bleak communist state. So hopefully when it does open up, it will become a very, very powerful center for arts and culture and science in the Caribbean. Who knows?
And the other thing is there's a lot of stuff for sale, like you would expect, in any major, it is a tourist area, any major tourist area. But it's all crafted here. All the Chinese crap hasn't arrived. The Chinese variation of this, that, and the other hasn't arrived yet. It's there's still a definite quality. I mean, the artwork here there's some absolutely amazing artists here, and they're selling original artwork. They're not selling prints.
Yeah.
So that's
very authentic.
Yeah. So just get here as soon as you can. If you ever have a dream about coming to Cuba, fly to Mexico City. Fly from Mexico City to here from, if you're bothered about your U.S. passport. Even though you can actually fly from America to here, and it's not an issue. Yeah. Just come see it.
And
Come
the
see it.
beautiful thing is that it's very safe here.
Yeah, we spoke to one guy yesterday, and he said 2 million people live in Havana, and 1 million, and there's 1 million police. And if you don't know what that means, what he's saying is everybody watches everybody else. So because of that, nothing goes wrong, nothing happens to people. So yeah, you can walk around. You know, you're walking around with a big expensive camera in your hand, and nobody even takes a second look at it. The funny thing was that you go through Mexico, and we were just in where were we? Just outside of Cancun. What's it called? Playa del Carmen, and we could walk maybe 20 meters, and then somebody would say, cocaine, you want some cocaine? Here, it's cigars.
Oh yeah.
Everybody said, you know, Cohiba? Like, shh, Cohiba, you want a Cohiba? And it was just very funny. But that's, so the contraband is Cohibas.
Yeah.
It's not cocaine.
But it's not even pickpocketing. It's just you're perfectly safe in every part of the city as well. There's no like bad corner or anything like that. Anywhere you go, you're fine. Yeah.
And we stopped to grab some water from a guy in a store, and I misunderstood what he said. I thought he said 125. I misunderstood him. He actually said 75. And because the Cuban Spanish is very unique. And he went, no, and he gave me the money back, and then I was holding money. He said, no, give me a 20 and a 5, and it's 75, and yeah. So that's the outlook on Havana, and I'm going to pull over here because I think we missed a turn because we were talking a lot. So I'm gonna end this video. So we'll tell you some more as we can.
Connected.